So you guys, we're gonna first establish a marching order, okay?
Yeah.
So who is going to be? Well, let's clarify this first. Serenity, you're carrying the boat, yes?
Yep, and my bag is in the solutions bag.
It's in the solutions bag. Okay. I just want to be clear on what everybody's carrying. Riot.
Everything in my backpack is what I'm carrying. The stuff in my missed possession is actually my stash, because the stash box is not big enough to hold everything I own now.
Okay, so you've got your costumes, your disguise kit.
No, I left the costumes. That's dumb. I just didn't notice that.
So disguise kit, Treskalia's box.
Yeah. Actually, I had a question about that, but you were gone. Are Traskalia's box and Diller's parcel the same thing?
Yes.
I've got both of them listed on my sheet, but I feel like I only need one of them.
Unless Diller's parcel means something else.
Oh, okay.
So you're carrying all these rations with you, even though they'll go bad.
No, I moved those over to my missed possessions, but I forgot to delete them off my backpack.
Gotcha. Okay, bedroll and your guitar. Looks good to me.
Yep.
Mr. Cyclone.
Hi.
You're still carrying a book of etiquette around, huh?
Yeah. Well, no, that's my Aunt Nancy doodad. So gotta hold on to that.
True. Okay. So you're carrying your hooded lantern, slate and chalk.
Yep.
I mean, Mahogany tells you that the hooded lantern. Well, because it's never going to be dark for lack of sunlight. You'll always see the sunlight in the sky, but it might get dark in the sense that, like, if it gets really rainy, if it gets really overcast and cloudy.
Well, then
So
the lantern could help.
Idea.
Yeah, the lantern could help. Also, these red silk shoes that I got from the fire daggers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them bad boys on.
Okay. I mean, these are
Mahogany
not.
also points out.
These are definitely not like travel boots. These are not.
Okay, if that's the case, then
these
never
are
mind.
dress shoes. Like I think I described them as pajama shoes.
Okay, then never mind.
They're very nice though. They're very comfy when you put them on. You're just not sure you want to trample all over the Beastlands wearing them.
Yeah, you're probably right. Everything else should be good.
So Kelian, all I see in your backpack here is like your weapons and things, the contents of your adventurers pack. So like, what is that? Like climbing pythons and things like that.
I'd have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head.
And your fatal poison, Mahogany. You've
Or
got
sleeping
your...
posing. We don't know.
You're just bringing your tools and your explorer's pack.
But I have a question before we go. I have a scroll listed scroll A,
Yes.
and since we have a lot of people with different class levels here, including NPCs, I was wondering if any of them could look at it and identify it for me if it was on my spell list.
Okay.
Be back in a
let
moment,
me
fellas.
Double check here. I'm sorry. You said scroll A.
Correct.
Okay. You've identified scroll C, right?
I think so. I think we've used it. I don't... Or someone has it that's not me?
No, scroll C. Kelian has that, or he's used it. He hasn't used it. Otherwise, I would have marked that it's been used.
I have a scroll of detect magic.
Yeah, detect magic. Yes. All right, give me a second to see who, if anybody. Now, for purposes of reading scrolls, I am not counting El Ciclon as a cleric. He got his cleric spells from a feat, but he is not himself a cleric, so he's not going to be able to use cleric scrolls.
Unless they happen to be in one of the 3 spells that he knows.
Yeah, if
right?
that's the case, then yeah, I would let him do it. So, Mahogany is a Druid. It's not on Mahogany's lists. Let me check the Bard list here. It's not on the Bard list. And
How about Wizard?
it's definitely going to be on the Wizard lists. Dolphinder identifies it as a scroll of the spell Shield, and she describes what the spell does.
Okay. I ask if she wants to hold on to it for the trip.
She said she wouldn't mind inscribing it into her spell book.
Sure.
All right, I am returned.
So the scroll is used up as Dolphinder inscribes the shield spell into her spellbook.
That's fine.
Which is
I can't
probably
see
good.
any point where a shield spell would be more useful to us.
Her stats really, really suck.
Yeah, no, she needs that spell.
I remember she was the joke there from sessions. So.
Okay. So Serenity's carrying the boat. who is going to take point? Who's going to be like the party leader?
Serenity's happy to
Mahogany
do
will
it.
do it if you force him to.
Well,
oh yeah,
yeah,
Mahogany
I-
wants to come second then.
I would think Mahogany would be the one to lead the way, since Mahogany's got the most experience.
Mahogany's
out
not super confident in his leadership abilities after
Serenity's
the
no,
travels
Serenity's
in the
actually got
forest.
a lot of Serenity's got a lot of wilderness experience actually.
here. Okay then.
So he's happy being number 2.
So there's no nighttime on the layer of Krigala, and this is something that Mahogany cautions you all about. Is that it's not going to get dark. Naturally, at least, there's not going to be any cues that it's time to stop and take a rest, so you really have to listen to what your body is telling you. If you feel thirsty, it's time to take a drink. If you start feeling hungry, it's probably time to break and eat. Trying to push yourself that few extra hours, like out on the outlands where Serenity is used to, you can always say, well, we're tired and hungry, but it'll be dark in an hour or two, so we might as well press on. If you do that, it's a good way to get killed in the Beastlands. The temperature ranges all over the place. Usually it's kind of mild and temperate. There are Arctic areas in the Beastlands, but Mahogany's never been to them. But if it doesn't rain for a long time, and if the wind dies down, it can get sweltering. We're going to delegate some tasks. And if you want to change any of these delegations at any time, just let me know. Every day that you travel, let's get this aside first. How does the traveling, like what kind of time blocks are we looking at? I was expecting something like 8 hours on, 8 hours off. Does that sound good to everybody?
That sounds
pretty
reasonable.
good,
Okay, so
Yeah. Does
a
Dolphin
break.
need an hour on top of that to prepare her spells, or is that good enough for her?
well, that's one of the things we're going to get to in the mechanics here. So the first thing we need to do is every 8 hours, when you guys break to rest, some number of you are going to have to forage for food. This is going to involve hunting, looking for water, finding wild fruits or berries or something, feeding the party. Who wants that task?
I think my
Take it.
background lets me do that automatically.
Does it?
Find it here.
Okay, let's double check the background there, and we will go on to one important aspect of
Yep,
the
I
Beastlands.
can forage for food or water and find refuge from planar hazards automatically as part of travel.
Excellent. So you guys are not going to have to worry about that. There will be parts on the plane where resources will be very scarce depending on where you go. So I may ask for a low DC check
Yeah.
in some of those areas.
Yeah, but by default, Serenity can keep 8 people on their feet during travel in places that are hospitable to her.
Red. So one other task that you guys might need to have is a scout. Somebody who can scout.
Mahogany will take that.
Mahogany will take that? Okay. And what is Mahogany's approach to scouting? Like, is he going to stay behind the group? Is he going to go ahead of the group? Is he going to make a radius around them? And is he going to do it in what animal form?
I'm going to go ahead of the group, and I'm going to do it in... This isn't a decision right yet, because I'm still looking at the stats.
Okay.
But I seem to remember that there was a wolf form that was very good for this. But like I'm saying, that's not a decision, so
That's
don't
fine.
cipher me on this.
Well, no, you can change these decisions whenever you want. Don't worry about that. So here's what we're going to do. At the beginning of every day, everybody's going to wake up. Usually, when you're in the wilderness, I do not allow long rests because I almost always require you to have both comfort and security to have a long rest, and you are denied those things out in the wilderness. But if I don't let you take long rests, you guys will not last very long because there will be no spells recharging, no hit dice regenerating. So the rule is, a long rest is not 8 hours. A long rest is going to be 12 hours. If you take the entire day down to rest and recuperate, you'll get the benefit of it. So
Can I real quick interject and tell you the abilities of my scout form?
yeah,
Okay, I've got a stealth skill, trained, and perception, obviously, but that's just comes from my normal form. I have advantage on
What is
hearing
your-
and smell.
what is your passive perception as a wolf?
As a wolf, it's 50.
15?
Yeah.
Okay, so your passive perception in wolf form as far as hearing and smell is going to be 20 because you have advantage
Okay.
on those rolls. and that was it, right? Advantage on smell and hearing?
Yeah, and I'm able to stealth. That's the other thing, is that stealth is trained when you're a wolf.
Gotcha. That will be useful for me to know. So when you set out for the day, the first thing you have to decide is what kind of pace you're going to keep. That's going to determine how many hexes you can travel across during that 8 hours of travel. You can keep a relatively slow pace, which will make navigation... Oh, that's the other thing, is we're going to have a navigator. Who wants to be navigator? This will be the person that kind of lays the route and makes sure you guys are going the direction you think you're going.
Can the blind guy do it?
No.
Xanthes is still not convinced he's left Sigil. Xanthes is the very definition of a useless third wheel. Ciclon wants to navigate?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that job.
So the first thing you want to do is basically pick a direction you want to travel to, any adjacent hexes. You want to pick a pace. How many hexes do you want to try to travel? If you travel at a slow pace, navigation and foraging is easier. Foraging is not a problem for you guys because Serenity is awesome at it. You can travel at a normal pace. I mean, we all played Oregon Trail. We know what this is like.
Yeah.
Normal pace lets you travel 2 hexes. You get to see what's in the first hex before picking the new direction. You can travel at a grueling pace, which will let you travel 3 hexes in 8 hours, but navigating and foraging becomes more difficult, and it confers a level of exhaustion.
Okay.
A long rest reduces 1 level of exhaustion.
Okay.
You can... We'll worry about spending hit dice during long rests, I guess, because we're kind of going to be glossing over a lot of days, so there's not going to be time to take an hour break here, an hour break there. But
Right.
just to reiterate the rules, during a long rest, you can spend as many hit dice as you want. You regain half of your hit dice during a long rest. Those don't refill altogether. So, that's the 2 rules about long rests. If they're 12 hours long, and they don't automatically refill your hit points for purposes of wilderness rests.
Wait, I'm sorry, 12?
Yeah, 12 hours of rests. And usually a long rest, when you do it in town where you have comfort and security, they refill your hit points. On the Beastlands, they're not going to refill your hit points. You have to spend hit dice.
All right, so how does that interact with our 8 hours on, 8 hours off? Are we saying that we're going to do 12 and 12?
It replaces that
Yeah.
entirely.
Or 8 and 12?
We'd have to take 12 additional hours of rest to get a long rest.
To get the benefits of the long rest, you take the full 12 hours. The 8 on, 8 off was just, you guys are not going to be just traveling constantly. I'm assuming you guys are going to stop to rest periodically, but if you want the benefits of the long rest, it's going to take longer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If we're not getting a long rest every 8 hours, then can we mix that up and do 2 on, 1 off? Because that way, every 2 hours, I can come out of my wolf form and take a short rest, get my wolf form back.
That's going to slow your progression considerably.
That actually was faster. Because
it's up to
before we were doing 8 and 8, this is 2 and 1. That should speed our progression.
You can do it however you want, but for my bookkeeping, it's going to be 8 hours of exploration equals 1, 2, or 3 hexes. I mean, I don't want to complicate my bookkeeping on my end, is what I'm saying.
Right. If we keep it... Okay, so then 8 and 8 makes sense. I'm just saying that in that case, we can just say that every 2 hours we rest 2 hours, and that works out to 8 and 8. It's the exact same. It's just this way it makes sense that I'm always in animal form when we're traveling.
That's what you want to do, but that's fine. So when you set out, you're going to pick a pace, pick a direction. You'll make Ciclon will make a navigation check to see if he can keep everybody on course. I have all kinds of rules to determine for when you get lost and what happens when you get lost. You also have the option, if you want to fully explore a hex, will take a full 8 hours to get the lay of everything that's in the hex you're in. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you're just crossing it to your next destination. And in doing that, you will get a better sense of what's around you. Because right now, you have no idea where to go.
Hey, Brickwood.
Yes.
I have a question about these lands.
Yeah.
Back during the first session, I remember you were asking Mahogany, like what happened to him when he entered the Beastlands.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, so do we all need to explain that?
Oh, I
Or
will.
what?
Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll get there. And no, you won't be explaining anything to me. I'll be explaining it to you.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Gotcha.
lovely. Lovely. This ought to be a hoot and a half. I
So,
get it.
who remembers what Aunt Nancy told you to look for on the Beastlands?
I've got it written down somewhere. Let's see. Clue 1 was the River Oceanus. Clue 2 was an island in the middle of the river. On that island is a desert with a cairn of stones. Under the cairn is a cache of...
Okay, that sounds about right. So somewhere on this hex map is a desert tile, which is your target. As soon as you guys enter the Beastlands, actually, I should probably see what kind of wind, temperature, and rain is happening.
Oh yeah, that was my other question.
Yeah.
Was for divination, how does that interact with spells that have a divinatory effect but are not themselves part of the divination school?
I'll make a call on that case-by-case basis.
Okay.
But in general, anything that's trying to read information magically won't work.
Got it.
So when you arrive, it's very hot, but there's a drizzle coming down out of the sky, which is kind of refreshing. Very little wind, so the rain is coming straight down out of the sky. Mahogany's portal opens up into in the cave, in a wetlands area. Kind of, not totally a marsh, but it would still count as grasslands if it wasn't raining. And he informed you he's been X amount of miles in this particular direction. He's explored the shoreline of what he thinks is a massive ocean. But, I mean, you look out over it and you just see water stretching out to the horizon. And that's where we begin.
All right. So, which way do you guys want to go?
So Mahogany, anytime Elsie Clone makes his check, and if you're not lost, because you're scouting, I will let you also make a navigation check to kind of look at one of the other hexes around without having to travel to it, because you're the scout.
Okay.
I will also be rolling periodically to see if you get ganked by birds.
Oh god, dude, I've been playing Ark, and they added a thing called terror birds.
Oh my god.
I love terror birds.
There are terror birds on the Beastlands. So,
Oh my god.
Xanthes and Bobrick are both in excellent spirits. Dolphinder is never in excellent spirits.
Dolphinder has dysentery.
But we just got here.
I know, isn't it great?
She thinks she ate something bad in the prison.
So I'm going to be deferring to Serenity to pick a direction for the first day as party leader.
Sounds good.
Let's head north.
North? All right.
So, Elsie Clone, what I need
Yeah.
from you first is a navigation check.
What am I adding to this?
This is a, it's not on the character sheet in this edition, is it?
Navigation? No.
I think
No.
navigator's
It's probably a
tools are.
proficiency. Yeah, there's a proficiency for it.
Yeah.
I actually have
I don't have it.
book here that I'm going to reference.
I don't think any of us do, so...
Yeah, I think mine got traded away for Portal Field since I'm a planar explorer, not a
Yeah.
place explorer, so I don't have it either.
A lot of these rules I took from my first purchase on the DM's Guild, which is a hex crawling and wilderness exploration manual that I found very useful.
Okay.
So bear with me just 1 second to get my notes finalized, and then we can get Elsie Clone get you into all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
I kind of hope we get lost immediately.
Getting lost will absolutely happen.
I feel like we're playing.
A navigation roll is a wilderness survival check.
Well, I do have
I'm sorry,
that
wisdom
plane of
survival
survival.
check. I will.
I do
Yeah,
have that-
plan or survival. I'll allow that here. Well, what plane
Okay,
did you
then.
specify?
Arborea.
Yeah, that'll work here. That's fine.
Okay, awesome, excellent. That makes me a little more confident in myself. So here we go. Pow! Nat 1!
Nat 1.
Oh my goodness.
Should I make my scouting
Elsie
roll?
Clone, roll a d6.
This is going to be the best.
No, do not make your
adventure
scouting
yet.
roll. He got you lost immediately.
Ready to fire me yet? 6.
6.
I feel like I should be scouting before he rolls.
So,
Nightmare.
few hours pass. What pace are you guys setting? Let me ask.
I figure normal.
Normal.
Yeah, normal for now.
Okay.
Get Dolphinder eased into it before we start hard marches.
And
Fearful.
he's constantly diverting you in such a way as to avoid the squishier areas of the wetlands, and eventually they dry out. But by that time, Mahogany, you're trying to scout, and every time you circle back around to come back in sight of the group, you find they're a little further away than where they ought to be. So you correct your own course. Throws a big wrench in your scouting abilities, and you guys end up traveling... Oops.
You deleted it.
I know.
Oh god.
Everything
Oh, you
is
might have ruined everything.
everything is wrong. Okay.
See, it's fine. Hey, this one shouldn't have flipped. I had 2 things highlighted. Also, that wasn't locked for some reason. And you end up traveling the wrong direction. So pick one more hex.
Wait, us or randomly or what?
Serenity.
Oh, continue going north.
Alright. Survival check.
So
Oh.
continue to go into the direction you're going, or try to locate north.
What kind of water is this? Since I've been there.
Freshwater.
Okay, but it's like a pool or something?
Well, the thing about the Beastlands is that the water is always good to drink, whether it's fresh or salt water. And saltwater creatures can happily live in fresh water and vice versa.
That's
The
weird.
best ability of the water to sustain life is what the water does. So, even if it was salt water, if you went to drink it, you would find it nourishing.
What I'm trying to get at here is we're not walking in the direction of I already know where the river is.
No, you know you guys are walking away from the ocean.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But you're not sure
because
what
we're
direction
trying
anymore.
to get.
So, Elsie Clone, continue going the direction you're going, or try to locate north.
Try to locate north.
Okay, make the survival check.
20.
20. And you enter a kind of rocky desert area. Sweltering heat. The rains die away. And the landscape in every direction, you don't see mountains on the horizon, but you see lots of tall plateaus surrounding the areas. Mahogany, make a navigation survival of your own.
Okay. $19.
19. So pick one of the hexes adjacent to that rocky desert.
Okay.
It's going to be really difficult to not delete these, because I'm so used to just hitting L then delete when I'm going through dungeons. And at this point, continue any further would confer a level of exhaustion. Because you've moved
Yes, I
your
guess
two
we'll
hexes.
stop here. I guess we'll stop here for 8 hours then.
Okay.
Is that the plan right now? We said normal pace earlier, so
Yeah.
I'd imagine that's...
Yeah, I don't think any of us wants to get exhausted this early in the.
Yeah, no kidding.
Probably not.
So make camp at this point. Probably if there's any shade to be had in underneath one of these plateaus, or
There's
rock
not, because the
outcropping.
sun is directly overhead. It's like high noon for hours and hours and hours.
No rock outcroppings that we could take shelter under.
Sure, yeah, you could find like an outcropping with some shade.
All right.
But it's not pleasant moving through the desert area. Serenity.
Yeah.
Make a forage check, DC 10.
skill is that? Survival?
Yes. I would also let you use nature.
Oh, okay. I made it.
Yeah. Okay. So, as y'all make camp under the outcropping, Serenity manages to find enough sustenance for you guys. She found a little pond. One of those oases. And she's dragging a camel back to camp. You guys can eat a whole camel, right?
Sure.
Wow.
So where to next?
Serenity's leading the way, so which way?
We entered into a rockier area.
Yes,
Yeah.
right now you're in a rocky desert. It's not mountainous, but like I said, high rocky plateaus. Very dusty, but not like giant sweeping sand dunes.
I would say continue heading north.
Okay. The wind
Right.
picks up as you guys are moving, blowing sand around, making it stinging your eyes. What's that navigation going?
Give me 1 second. 10.
10. Okay. And you find some mountains. They start coming up over the horizon in the distance. This mountainous area. Now, mountains, the maximum pace you can keep and travel through a mountain tile would be 1. You cannot take mountain tiles at 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that ends your trip for the day. Let's see if you get a encounter. So what kind of place do you look for to
Do I
hunker
get a
down?
scout?
Sure, go ahead. What kind of place are you looking for to hunker down tonight?
Just a something with a near a canyon wall or something where we can get some shade.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're in the mountains, we might be able to find a cave even.
Looking for a cave? Sure. How'd that scout go? Navigation.
11.
11. Yeah, go ahead and pick one of the tiles adjacent to the desert one.
Yeah, you got his tab right there.
That's not
one.
adjacent to the desert tile. That's adjacent to this mountain hex.
It's the one we end up on, or the one we start on.
It's this one here. You're scouting from here.
This one, the one we start on?
Yes.
Okay, then this one.
This one. So, this mountain range forms in many directions on the edge of the desert. And you do find a cave to bunker down in. And I don't have my Beastlands Monster PDF open. Let me rectify that. Instead, I have this stupid Mount Celestia PDF open.
That's it. Unless we've gone a long way further from Beastlands than we thought we were.
Well, I did start off this thing with a nat 1 exploration check. So yeah.
And now
Fell
we're in
into
the
a portal.
mountains.
Yeah, we are climbing.
It's going to be much more
Probably
difficult to
fell into a
navigate
portal.
in the mountains.
Do you feel like a good person for climbing so hard, Riot?
We also just feel tired.
Riot always feels like a good person. I'll be right back.
There's my Beastlands monsters. Okay. You find a cave, and you expect it to be... Oh, wait, no, this isn't the right one.
Uh-oh.
This is not the right one. You expect it to be dark inside. But it's not. It's actually illuminated quite a bit. I'm just trying... Oh, it's probably in this Monstrous Compendium too, then. They released a lot of different monstrous supplements for Planescape. And it's confusing to me because I always forget which one is in which area.
I'm zoomed in pretty close right now, and I keep zooming out and realizing
There's
how
nothing else
fast
to
this
see.
thing is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're kind of going for a needle in a haystack here.
So looking into this cave, you expect it to be dark, but it's not. It's actually very bright. Something inside is illuminating this cave to a great degree.
Any idea what the source is?
Not standing outside the cave, no.
Do you guys want if I should check if it's magical first?
Make me a perception check, Ciclon.
Perception of 23. Nat 20 on that shit.
You hear a faint buzzing inside the cave.
Buzzing. Like bees?
No idea.
Riot quickly points out that the last time she dealt with glowing bugs, she had a bad time.
Maybe we should find another cave, guys.
Well, this is a perfectly fine cave, I'm sure.
I don't like the sound of that buzzing.
It could be friendly buzzing.
Somehow I find that judgment to be suspect.
Let's at least check it out, see what it is. Do I have any idea what it could be?
Are you sure you're not a
Barbarian
sensei?
chimes up and says, "This conversation is pointless. We've been marching all day. My dogs are barking. Let's go in there, and if it's something dangerous, do what you were made for."
Sounds good to Serenity. She's already on her way inside the cave.
Serenity walks into the cave.
Ciclon rolls his eyes and then walks along behind Serenity. Like,
I'll
God
hand
damn
my
it.
quarterstaff to Bobrick. And I'll
going to
say,
be a
defend
thing.
yourself.
going
Riot
to be a
sighs
thing.
and follows the rest.
Bobrick is
Yeah.
armed. I just forget what he's armed with.
Staff?
Did he have?
Cowardice.
He's got an instrument of some kind because he's a bard, but I forget what instrument I gave him too.
Sham.
Sham.
That's a hand axe, right?
Going back into the cave, the buzzing gets louder. The Serenity takes point, and eventually you see swarms, thousands of these bizarre insects that are giving off very bright light, and they just seem to be swarming the back of the cave.
I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so.
But they're just like normal size insects, right? They're not huge.
They are. Well, how close do you get, Riot?
As close as she can get while staying behind Serenity.
How close does Serenity get?
You know. However close. She just keeps... I mean, have we found enough space within the cave for us to rest yet?
Anywhere you choose to rest in this cave, if these things mean you ill, it would be extremely easy for them to swarm you.
Do they mean us up? They seem fine.
Yeah.
So how close does Serenity get?
I mean, again, we only need enough room inside the cave to just, get out from under. So I'll just, we can camp out in the entrance to the cave, like just beyond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fine.
Yeah.
However close that puts me. She'll sit between the insects, and the rest of the group.
Okay. So kind of chilling in the mouth of the cave. Every so often, one or two of these little creatures, these little insects, buzz around where you're all resting, lands on the ground and hops forward. And to answer Riot's question, these things are pretty big for insects. About maybe an inch around.
Oh, but not like man-sized.
No, they're not. No, they're
Like,
not.
okay.
They're not going to carry you off to the
They're
wild.
not
I don't
giant
think you
pandemonium
understand
things.
Riot's scale for large
Yeah,
insects.
when you said pretty big, I was like, we're leaving now.
No. A lot larger than a typical housefly. Think of like maybe a really big palmetto bug.
Okay.
Yeah, I was worried we were talking like hornets the size of fucking cats.
Oh, speaking of cats, Kelian.
The cat.
I should have
Uh-oh.
mentioned this an hour ago, but your cat attempts to follow you to the portal. Do you make any motion to stop her?
Yeah?
What do you do?
Pick her up and bring her home?
And do what with her?
Shit. Lock the kip. Obviously, to try and prevent her from leaving.
Okay, and when you get back to the portal, you realize that she
she's
just
still
left
there.
one of the holes.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you know that she can get out.
Yeah, I know that she can get out.
Ask the neighbor to watch your stupid cat for you.
No. That's not a thing Kelian would
Bring her
do.
along. She's a hunter.
Bring it, take it back to your office, lock it in there.
She survived in the infinite staircase. How much worse can
I
it be?
was thinking about
Science
the
me?
office.
She's
Wow.
just fine in your apartment.
Yeah, but she's not going to stay in the apartment. She just found
That's
her
why
way
she
out.
did just fine in it.
That's Riot's actual in-character suggestion, by the way, is bring her to the office and leave her there.
No, that was Mahogany's in character suggestion too.
That was also Kelian's thinking.
Is that what Kelian does?
Yeah, Kelian's gonna bring her to the Hall of Records into his office.
And while everybody else is waiting down at the Hall of Records, you come down and she finds her way out.
Really?
Really?
She's clearly good at scouting. Bring her with us.
Something's weird about that cat.
Cat wants pork snagglins.
So do you physically restrain the cat in any way? To ensure she does not follow you?
No. Fuck
No.
it. She's coming.
Then what Mahogany sees
she
is
is-
very, very strange immediately upon coming to the plane is that the cat does not, in fact, bolt. The cat continues to follow Kelian as you guys make this trek.
Okay, that's really weird. That was not what I was expecting at all. I thought I just lost my cat.
I'm telling
Mahogany
you, there's no
responds
such
that-
thing
As a
as a
tame
trained
cat.
cat.
That cat has tamed you.
Look,
We're
I've
lucky you
got
didn't go running
3
off
cats.
into the distance.
I know this.
Within 6 hours of coming to the plane, Mahogany, your joints stiffen, your skin hardens and becomes less malleable, and it takes on this bark-like texture and color. Another 6 or 8 hours after that, Riot. During the first rest you guys took, you wake up, your back is this splitting pain. It's incredibly painful, like something is straining against your clothes. And it's causing you great distress. It's really, really painful.
I take off the clothes.
Pull off your shirt, and you realize that you've sprouted ladybug wings coming out of your back with the colorful red carapace and these very paper-thin wings that you can flutter out.
Wow.
This is awkward.
The next day, Kelian, as he's walking along, makes a very odd noise, and looking down, you see, coming out of the bottom of his pants leg, is a rattle, like on the end of a snake.
Wow.
And asking for an explanation, and he tries to give it one, his tongue also zips out of his mouth, long and forked, like a snake.
Little on the nose, are we?
That's absurd.
Bobrick, his face stretches out into a beak, and every time he speaks, his voice takes on this sing-song quality, which just drives him to no end of irritation. So far, the rest of you seem fine.
You said mine was bark-like?
Yes.
Okay, so the the guy who's trying to throw his weight around and bark orders is now kind of chirping orders, and it's a lot easier to ignore.
These little insects, examining them, they look to have almost a human face. That's very unsettling. With a big bulbous nose and little tiny ears and a little wispy beard coming off of their chins.
You think these are the petitioners for this plane?
What's that?
Is that common knowledge?
The
Would that be
general
appropriate?
general theory is that all the petitioner, like the Beastlands, is the destination for every natural animal that dies. So all animal petitioners throughout the cosmos end up on the Beastlands.
Huh. Okay.
No, what I was asking was, has Riot it's common knowledge for what a petitioner is?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So who swats the insects? Nobody?
Well, what was the question?
Who swats these insects?
Oh, not me.
Nope.
No,
I'm
fine.
kind of
Over
a
the
kind of a
course your
little.
rest, they find more and more courage, and more of them start hopping over. They cause this cat a lot of irritation. They seem to be swarming around her, giving off this bright light, and she howls and jumps backwards and tries to swat at them, but no matter who she hides behind, these insects follow. So at the end of your rest, you all feel very refreshed, but the poor cat is beside herself.
Aww.
And after you all have had a meal, the swarm of creatures buzzes their way out of the cave, leaving you all behind.
All right, let's keep going then.
I've got to take at least a few minutes to fix this clothes situation.
So what is the clothes solution?
I guess I can just try and carve like the back out of the armor, because it's rare that I get attacked from behind.
Okay. What kind of armor do you have?
Leather.
Oh yeah, easy enough. So, over the course of the rest, you rework your armor so these ladybug wings can sprout out of your back. And once you get the clothes off, it's much more comfortable.
Yeah.
Just very bizarre to have this flutter of wings behind you.
I gotta tell you, Riot, that's beautiful.
Thanks, I think. I'm going to test them too. I'm going to see if they're strong enough to fly with.
And they are not.
All right.
Very much not.
Can't blame me for trying.
I do not, no. And the next day is very, very windy. So continuing to head north?
Sounds good, I guess.
Riot is going to suggest, going to point out, look, we're looking for a river. And right now we're up in the mountains. That's the opposite of what we should be doing.
No, rivers have to flow downhill. We'll find the source of it and then follow it down.
Can't argue with that logic.
I guess.
Is
So
there any
north?
particular reason? Well,
Go ahead, Nodal.
no, that seems fine.
So northeast Serenity?
North.
North? Alright. See if I bring us north. Yes, I do. With gusto.
Okay. And you come out to an area where the mountains become more and more forested. And all through this traveling, you guys have met no end of animals along the way. Most of them scurry out of your path, but a lot of them, as you approach, you see more intelligence to them than common animals you're used to. They still make no effort to contact or communicate in any way, but it's sure that this plane is imbuing these animals with a greater sense of confidence than would typically be warranted. So, Mahogany, are you scouting?
Yeah, I got a DC 10 on the northeast.
So, which one?
Northeast?
Well, of where you left.
Yeah, northeast of where we left.
There we go. That's the stuff.
Okay.
And you stop and rest in the forests to the north. And then where's next?
Let's just keep going.
Yeah? Do it. That one!
Roll a d6.
6 says... Pow! 3.
Okay. wind up over here, entering into what looks to be a jungle, leaving the mountains behind, and it gets a lot wetter and a lot denser and a lot more tightly populated. Where to from here?
Ciclon, are you sure you know how to read the sun?
Well, it's kind of weird with the sun not moving.
That should just make it easier.
No, it really doesn't. Alright, so continuing north, Serenity?
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. That is 11.
11. Roll a d6. Roll a d6. Ciclon.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
What's up, Brick Road?
Roll a d6. D6, the six-sided one. This one here. There you go.
Okay, see,
You cut out.
I didn't go
Yeah,
there.
I
cut
couldn't
out,
hear
bro.
anything you saying.
Yeah, I couldn't hear a thing, Brick Road. 1.
So everything's fine. Does that
And-
mean I get to scout? Because he ended up going in the right direction?
No, because he failed his navigation check.
I guess we're stopping for the day here then?
Stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
See if I can't. I'll go to some sloth. Sloth's pretty good.
Get some sloth out of the jungle.
Yeah, jungle sloth.
I dropped my d10. That's the
Good
worst
job.
thing to drop.
Serenity, before you go looking for a sloth, I need to know. Do you have any idea what a sloth is? Or have you just heard the word sloth and that sounds delicious?
I know that they're in jungles and they do sound delicious. Be real here.
Mahogany.
I thought that... Oh.
Maintaining your wolf form, you get the feeling, like this funny feeling that you're being watched. And your passive perception is 20 with smell, right?
Mm-hmm. Smell and hearing.
Smell and hearing. You don't hear anything. However, you definitely smell humans in the vicinity.
Hmm.
And this is
Where
what you
around?
pick up as you're coming back to camp. Like everybody else has decided where they're going to camp down for the night, and you took just another 10-20 minutes to just scout the area for danger, and you're smelling somebody out there.
Alright, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna nose up to Serenity. And I'm gonna, like, push her with my paw.
She'll just pet you.
And I'm going to lowly growl at her.
She'll growl
And then
back.
slap her. Slap her across the face.
She'll slap you back.
So the rest of you are
You're
sitting
staring
there.
at an incredibly nonplussed wolf.
The two ciphers just begin wrestling at the campsite.
Damn it, Moon, stop it.
Alright, Mahogany is going to very exaggeratingly stealthing slink away from the campfire
Okay.
and then look at Serenity.
Serenity will nod and start sneaking in the same direction.
And where are you taking
And
her?
I'm trying to find the humans.
Perception check. You can make this at advantage.
Should I make a stealth check to be unseen?
You both should, yes. If you're trying to be unseen, yes.
That was my read on what the wolf wants me to do.
Are you going to pass without trace, or is it not
I
time for that
could,
yet?
but I don't want to take a long rest for that yet.
Okay.
Besides, my stealth's pretty decent. That's a 16.
Okay. How'd Mahogany do?
Alright, my perception was a 18 plus 5 is 23.
Mhm.
And my stealth was...
Damn it, Moon.
poor.
4?
2 plus... It's not the worst in the world. 7?
Okay.
And the reason I got Serenity, by the way, is because I wanted her to cast Pass Without Trace. I just didn't say anything because I'm a fucking wolf. So,
Gotcha. So, walking forward, and you hear all around you 6 or 7 spots just the sounds of human, the kind of imperceptible things that we can't pick up on, but that a wolf could. Breathing, the light pressing of twigs that is kind of unnatural sounding. And looking in those directions, you do find 6 humans. Very young, all boys. Between maybe 6 and 12 years old. And you lock eyes with one of them. So he knows you're there. You know he's there. Serenity, you have no idea what's going on, except Mahogany just stopped and is looking in a particular direction.
I'll just hold very still.
Okay.
Try and stay hidden.